At Summit Peak Aquatic Center, rows of teenage swimmers lined the edge of the pool in their bright swimsuits. Everyone stood stiff and silent, waiting for Coach to call their names. Coach's name was Victor Thorne, but everyone called him Coach Vic. He was tall and wide-shouldered with hair going gray at the sides. His voice was the kind that made your stomach twist if he called on you. He loved two things: winning and being in charge. But that morning, all his anger was aimed at Maya Jenkins. Maya was 14 with skin the color of polished ebony and thick braids pulled tight against her scalp. She'd always loved the water. She said swimming made her feel like she was flying. But here, she felt like she was sinking. Coach Vic glared at her. His finger jabbed the air like a spear. "You think you belong here, Jenkins?" he shouted so loud the sound bounced off the tile walls. Maya didn't answer. She just folded her arms across her chest, trying not to cry. "Answer me." Coach yelled again. "Do you think you're good enough to wear that swimsuit?" Behind her, the other girls looked down at their feet. No one spoke. No one helped. Not even Chloe Davis, who had once shared her snack with Maya after practice. Today, she just stared at the ground like everyone else. Coach Vic stepped closer. His face red. "You're a quota filler," he hissed. "You're here because some idiot thought we needed more diversity. Well, you're embarrassing this team." Maya's chest hurt so much she thought she might stop breathing. She wanted to scream back that she had earned her spot, that her times were faster than half the girls in line. But her voice wouldn't come out. "Coach, she did nothing wrong," whispered a tiny voice from the back. It was Zara Khan, the youngest on the team. Coach Vic whipped around. "Quiet," he barked. "Or you'll be next." Maya looked at the water. She thought about diving in and swimming away forever. That afternoon, practice was even worse. Every time she touched the wall, Coach Vic blew his whistle so hard it made her ears ring. "You call that a flip turn? You're wasting everyone's time. Swim faster or get out of my pool." She felt everyone's eyes on her, watching, judging, wondering if she was really as awful as Coach said. And when she climbed out, shivering and tired, he leaned in and whispered in her ear, "This is why your kind don't belong here." That night, Maya sat in her room hugging her knees to her chest. On her shelf were all her ribbons from smaller meets. First place, second place, third place. Proof that she was good. Proof that she belonged. But none of it mattered now because here in this big shiny pool with banners and spotlights, she was just the black girl nobody wanted. Her dad knocked on the door, but she didn't answer. She didn't want him to see her crying. She didn't want him to feel. Her dad was Marcus Jenkins, but the world knew him by another name. Marcus the Gale Jenkins, the man who'd won 3 Olympic gold medals in freestyle. The man who'd made every magazine cover in America. But to her, he was just Dad. The one who taught her to swim before she could read. The one who always said, "You're unstoppable, Maya." She didn't feel unstoppable now. She felt small and tired and so alone. The next morning, her dad tried again. He stood in the doorway in his business suit holding a mug of coffee. "You ready to go?" he asked softly. She shook her head. "I don't want to swim today," she mumbled. "You sure?" "Yeah," he nodded like he understood. But when he turned to leave, she saw his hand tighten around the mug until his knuckles turned white. At practice, Coach Vic noticed her empty lane. "Figures," he smirked. "Can't handle a little pressure." The other swimmers didn't say anything. Some looked relieved she wasn't there. Others looked sorry, but nobody spoke her name out loud. At lunch, Chloe Davis sat next to Maya in the cafeteria. "You okay?" she whispered. Maya shrugged. "He's wrong," Chloe said quickly. "You're faster than me. Everyone knows it." "Then why doesn't anyone say something?" Maya whispered back, her eyes filling up again. Chloe didn't answer because there was no answer. By the end of the week, she came back to the pool. She thought maybe if she kept her head down, it would all stop, but it didn't. Coach Vic blew the whistle before roll call and pointed right at her. "Late again," he barked. 5 laps as punishment. She hadn't been late. She'd been standing there the whole time, but nobody spoke up, so she dove in and swam lap after lap, her arms burning, her chest aching. She thought about quitting every single minute, but something inside her said, "Keep going." She climbed out, dripping, exhausted. Coach Vic gave her a hard look. "You think you're tough," he sneered. "But you're just aggressive." The word made her stomach twist like she was dangerous just for speaking up. That night, she finally told her dad everything, every insult, every punishment, every moment she wanted to disappear. He listened without interrupting. His face grew still. When she finished, he set his jaw. He thinks he can treat you like that because nobody will stop him, he said. He doesn't know who he's messing with. Maya blinked. What do you mean? He didn't answer. He just pulled out his phone and started making calls. But Maya didn't know her life was about to change forever. That the man who raised her was about to show everyone, especially Coach Vic, what unstoppable really looked like. The next morning, the sun was barely up when Maya walked into the pool. Her heart was thumping so loud she thought everyone could hear it. She tried not to look at Coach Vic, who was already blowing his whistle like he owned the world. He saw her and smirked. Look who finally decided to show up, he barked. Maya didn't say anything. She just dropped her bag and stood tall. Even if her legs felt like jelly inside, the rest of the team lined up. Coach Vic stepped in front of them, folding his arms. Since some of you think you're special, he said, glaring at Maya. We're going to do extra drills today. Some kids groaned. Others looked down. Nobody dared defend her. Coach Vic raised his whistle to his mouth. But before he could blow it, the big glass doors slammed open. Everyone turned. A tall man in a crisp navy suit walked in, his shoes echoing across the tiles. It was her dad. Marcus the Gale Jenkins, and he looked like a storm ready to break. Coach Vic frowned. This is a private practice, he called out, his voice echoing. Parents aren't allowed on deck. But her dad kept walking. His face was calm, but his eyes were fire. You'll want to hear what I have to say, he replied. He reached the edge of the pool and looked Coach Vic dead in the eye. I'm Marcus Jenkins, he said in a low voice everyone could hear. I'm Maya's father, and I'm the reason this program has the funding to run. A ripple went through the swimmers. Some gasped. Some looked at Maya with wide eyes. Even Coach Vic's mouth twitched. Congratulations, Coach Vic sneered. But your daughter still isn't cut out for this. Her dad didn't flinch. No, Vic. You're the one who isn't cut out for this. He pulled out his phone, pressed a button, and held it up. A recording played loud and clear. His phone speaker turned all the way up. It was Coach Vic's voice, ugly and sharp. You're a quota filler. This is why your kind don't belong here. Every swimmer heard it. Every parent who was waiting outside heard it. Even the assistant coaches standing by the diving blocks heard it. Maya's cheeks burned, but she stood straighter. Coach Vic's face turned gray. That recording is taken out of context, he stammered. Her dad lowered the phone. No, Vic. It's exactly what you said. He turned to face the team. I donated $1 million to this program so kids of every background could have a chance to swim here, he said, his voice carrying through the rafters, and I will not stand by while a bully tears them down. Nobody moved. Nobody breathed. Effective immediately, her dad said, I'm withdrawing my sponsorship unless this coach is removed. Gasps burst through the crowd. The assistant coach, a thin woman named Coach Lena, stepped forward. Mr. Jenkins, you mean you're cutting all the funds? She asked. Unless Vic is gone, he repeated. Coach Vic's mouth opened and closed like a fish. He looked around for backup, but no one came. Even the swimmers he always favored stared at their feet. Slowly, Coach Lena turned to him. Coach Vic, she said, her voice trembling. You need to leave now. He started to protest, but then he stopped because he knew it was over. He threw down his whistle. It bounced on the tiles. Without another word, he stormed out of the building. Nobody clapped. Nobody cheered. It was too heavy for that. Instead, everyone just stood in silence as the door swung shut behind him. Maya felt her knees wobble. She couldn't believe it. He was really gone. Her dad turned and looked at her. His eyes were softer now. You did nothing wrong, he said. Don't ever let anyone make you feel small. Tears blurred her vision. She nodded. Coach Lena cleared her throat and stepped in front of the team. Let's be clear, she said. Maya is one of the strongest swimmers we have. She's earned her place here, and anyone who thinks otherwise can leave. No one moved. Maya felt something bloom in her chest. Like a little flame that had almost gone out, but now burned bright again. Her dad bent down so they were eye to eye. I'm proud of you, he whispered. Then he turned and walked out, leaving her standing there, stronger than she had ever been. The next few weeks felt different. No more nasty comments, no more unfair punishments. The whispers stopped and one by one her teammates began to see her for who she really was, a girl who refused to give up. During their first meet under Coach Lena, Maya swam anchor in the 4x100 relay. When she touched the wall, she looked up and saw her name on the scoreboard, first place. Everyone erupted in cheers. Even Chloe, who hugged her so tight Maya almost fell over. As she stood there, metal around her neck, she knew something for sure. She belonged here. Not because of her dad's fame, not because of any donation, because she was good, because she was brave, because she never stopped swimming. That night, Maya lay in bed staring at her medal. She thought about all the times she wanted to quit, all the times she believed the lies, but she didn't quit, and she never would.